Hello and welcome to this walkthrough on how to beat Key to Freedom. I'm Christopher Golden, one of the creators of this custom story. In the description below there are some timeline links that will take you to where you need help with. This is why you're watching this on YouTube and not on the Key to Freedom ModDB page. But if you want to watch a playthrough of this custom story just for fun, then I would instead recommend watching the many Let's Plays of this custom story on YouTube. The reason for this is because this video will not deal with any story elements or scary events that the player might encounter, but will only help the player with puzzles, navigation, and other gameplay elements. Although on occasion I will point out where the notes that contain story elements are located. It's important to pay attention to the story because it will give context to what is going on in this game. So without further ado, let's get started. So here in the beginning, once you take control of your character, a journal notification will appear. Check your journal and click on Notes. There you will find a note from Mr. Wilkinson. These notes will give the player instructions on how to find the safe deposit box key. In this note, Mr. Wilkinson tells the player to break into the mansion. All you need to do is grab a box and break one of the windows. Next, you will find a locked door. Here, you will need to go down a pipe. You can do this by either stacking boxes to climb up on the pipe itself, or you can leap to it from up top of the stairs. Before you can progress, you'll need to get the lantern. Notice how the table is held up with a flimsy wooden leg? This should be easily noticeable because of the blue glow. Search the room and you'll notice another blue glow. There you will find some rocks. Pick one up and throw it at the leg. You may need to do this a few times, but anyways, after picking up the lantern, head downstairs and walk through the door on the left. Follow the light and you'll be able to get a key. Notice that this is not the safe deposit box key, but just a key to help the player escape this portion of the storage area. After you use the key on the door that slammed shut behind you, you can use the key again on another door. Also, by the way, there's a secret stash of oil and tinder boxes in this room, but it should be easy to find. Head upstairs and go through the door. At this point in the game, you will be notified of Mr. Wilkinson's second note of instructions. The note will tell of an elevator in the entrance hall that you should use to reach the next part of the mansion. Once you find it and try to use it, a memento will appear in your journal stating that the elevator needs some power. In order to find the generator, turn left and go through the door that is in front of you. Follow the corridor and you'll see that the stairs have collapsed and that you'll need to find something to help you climb down, as noted in the mementos. Go upstairs and the way will be lit. This is the mansion's living quarters. When you try to open the locked door on the far side of the corridor, you'll hear one of the suits of armor move behind you. Go and investigate and you'll notice that one of the suits of armor did in fact move. More specifically, the bronze armor that's missing a left arm. Pick up the key that it's holding and use the key on the same door that you previously tried to open. On the dining room table there is a knife. Pick it up. Next to the fireplace there is a story important note. As you can see, this painting is securely attached to the wall. Go to the other painting and you'll be able to remove it. Hopefully you would have noticed that you could remove this painting because of how obviously crooked it is. Pull the lever and listen to where the unlocking sound is coming from. The sound came from another painting, and now you can remove it. The secret door is locked. Use the knife to open the lock. Pick up the key. Again, this is not the safe deposit box key. Go through the door opposite the painting, turn left in the passageway, and go to the last door on the left. This is an empty guest room. There is nothing in here except on the table there is a story important note. After reading the note, jump on the desk and open the hatch in the ceiling. You should be able to climb up into the attic. There's also a ledge that you'll need to climb up on. Open the hatch and jump down. You are now in the main bedroom. In the chest there is a rope which you can use in the future. Inside the chest there is another key that you can use to exit the room. Don't forget to get the tinder boxes and the oil in this room. Unlock the door and you'll notice that it leads back into the passageway. Leave the passageway back into the lounge, the room with the fireplace. Go back into the passageway and you'll hear the door to your right make an unlocking sound. The bronze armor will point you in the right direction. Go back down to the entrance of the basement. Use the rope on the stairs, but instead of, trying to tie it to a flimsy part of the staircase, instead you want to tie it to something more secure. After the rope is secured, use it. Once you're in the basement, you'll notice that your character has dropped the knife If you plan on looking for the knife, you may discover that there is a bottle of oil floating in the water. If you work your way through the debris, you'll not only be able to pick up the oil, but you would then be able to climb up on the debris and find some laudanum. The first door you encounter there will be a story important note. You are now in the cellar portion of the basement. Continue down the path and you will find a door on your left that is blocked with planks of wood, but instead keep going straight and you will find another story important note. Continue down until you come to a room with several doors. Go through the last door on the left. Move the wooden beam with the WASD keys to get it out the way. On your left, there is a story important note. Next to that, there is a crowbar, which is stuck and cannot be pulled. Go upstairs and you will find a hammer. The hammer won't be strong enough to break down the sliding door, but you should then notice that the door is attached to a mechanism of some kind. Go back down and use the hammer to get the crowbar. The crowbar won't be able to lift the door because it's too heavy, but you can get the box to help you up on the other landing. The rest of the barrel's all full of wine, so it's too heavy to move. There you'll see a wheel. Turn it all the way until the door is completely open. Use the crowbar. You may need to turn the wheel a bit further as it will turn back if it is not held in place. Walk through the door that you just opened and turn right. Here you will find the generator, which will give power to certain parts of the mansion, including the elevator. There's an instructions note on the wall that will tell you on how to activate the generator. It will also tell you that the generator first needs some coal. This note, as well as a previous story important note, will tell the player that there is a kitchen and that the cook likes using coal for cooking. To get the machinery started, obviously you'll need to put some coal in the furnace to power the generator, but you'll need more coal first. Before leaving the room, you may have also noticed that there is another story important note on the floor. Go downstairs and go through the door. Head further downstairs and you'll notice a broken door to your right. There lies the kitchen. Find the oven and pick up the coal. By the way, there's some more oil in this room, plus some tinder boxes. Take the coal upstairs to the generator and put it in the furnace, including 2 other pieces of coal that are found near the furnace. Once you ignite the furnace, 7 levers will now be activated. The generator instructions note that you picked up earlier will tell the player on how to solve this puzzle. This is a memory game. The player is required to pull each lever in the right order and position. If the player gets it wrong, then the machine will reset the levers. The easiest way to solve this puzzle would be to pull each lever from left to right or vice versa rather than pulling them in a random order. Doing that would be harder to remember which lever has already been pulled or not been pulled at all. As you can see, I chose to pull these levers from left to right, pulling them up first. This puzzle is really easy unless you go in with no strategy. Once you get the machine to work, a memento will appear stating that the elevator should be working now. Go back downstairs and break the wood planks with a hammer. This will take you back to the entrance of the cellar. Grab the rope and climb up. Back in the entrance hall, go to the elevator, pull the lever. You are now inside the mansion's foundation halls. A message will tell the player to read another note from Mr. Wilkinson in the player's journal. The note tells of 4 crystal balls that the player must find in the center of the inner foundation. Head to the middle of this hall and the player will see 4 crystal balls. Another notification of Mr. Wilkinson's instructions will appear. This note will tell the player that the crystal balls are missing shard pieces and that these crystal shards are scattered throughout the estate. Note the word estate, meaning that these pieces are scattered throughout the entire Ashbury estate and that they're not just hidden here in the mansion's foundation halls. Your new objective is to find 4 crystal shards. Each of them will be near an eagle statue. So your goal will be to find all eagle statues throughout the Ashbury estate. To your right, there will be a light. Here you will find a note and a lever. The lever will not be operational, but the note will tell the player that there is a storeroom nearby, and in it there will be a vase on top of the tallest shelf that contains 2 keys. One of the keys are for unlocking the lever, the other is for the tower upstairs. Go to the storeroom which is to the right of the elevator, find the tallest shelf and climb it. The player will automatically push it off the shelf, breaking on impact, which should reveal 2 keys. There should be a memento reminding the player of what the note has previously stated, that one of the keys are for unlocking the lever and the other is for the tower upstairs. Before you leave the storeroom, hopefully you have noticed another eagle statue. This should be obvious as to where the shard is hidden. Head back to where you found the lever and use the key on the lock. Some lights will turn on, revealing to the player on which orb to use the shard on. All you have left now is the key to the tower. The note and memento mentioned that the tower is upstairs in the entrance hall. Go back to the entrance hall via the elevator. Use the key to unlock the tower door, head upstairs, walk down the hallway, and here you will find a cage to the left with a table. Okay, so although there have been some non-linear elements up to this point in the game, this is when it starts to become very non-linear. The player has a choice: go up the tower or stay down here to solve the puzzle. If the player chooses to skip the puzzle, the player will have to revisit this part of the mansion to continue with the game. But for the sake of saving time, we will first complete this puzzle. On the table there will be some more oil and a note. The note will tell the player that the machine inside the cage is a lock-in mechanism that can unlock a door in the entrance hall that leads to the dining hall. The note also mentions that the cage has a damaged bar and that it can be easily broken. Break the bar either by moving it back and forth or use the hammer. Now you can get inside. The note mentions that the machinery uses a combination. Fortunately, the player can just guess the combination, much like the generator, by guessing the order in which these buttons should be pushed. If you get it wrong, the machine will shut down and the player will have to start over. However, instead of pressing each button once in a particular order, the player will need to press each button according to the amount of sides that the button's corresponding shape has. To put it simply, triangle has 3 sides, which means the player will be required to push that button 3 times as opposed to just once. Likewise, square has 4 sides, which would require 4 pushes of the button, and circle has 1 side, which is 1 push of the button. Once the player solves this puzzle, the lock-in mechanism will unlock the large door downstairs. Your character will make a comment stating that the player can choose to go up the tower or go back to the entrance hall and go through the large door that has now been unlocked. In this playthrough, we're going to go up the tower. Once the player makes it up the tower, turn right and then left. There will be a story important note. This is one note that the player has to pick up in order to progress in the game. Continue following the path until the player discovers a few eagle statues. Each statue will give the player a hint as to where the crystal shard is hidden by facing in the direction that the player should follow. The last statue on the left will be pointing at the suit of armor. You may notice a green glow in the helmet. Remove the helmet and jump on the chair so you can reach the green shard. If you have not picked up the story important note prior to doing this, then you will need to go back and pick it up. Then head back to where the eagle statues were and the door will open. Go through it. Once you make it up to the second tower, you will need to go to the table and push it away in order to get the hand drill. Run down the staircase and use the hand drill to unlock the door, and by using the hammer to apply more force. You will find yourself back in the entrance hall. For those that have not unlocked the large door leading to the dining hall, will have to go back to the tower as noted in the player's mementos. Click the annotation if you want to know on how to unlock the large door that leads to the dining hall. Go to the large door on top of the stairs. You are now in the dining hall. On the large table there is a story important note. Continue to the end of the dining hall and you will come to a door that leads to a corridor. On your left is a chest with some oil in it, and on your right is where you need to go. You are now in the main hall, also known as the cultural hall. There is some oil straight ahead, and on your right there is another eagle statue. The memento will remind the player that the shard piece shouldn't be more than 20 feet away from the statue, which isn't very far at all. In fact, 20 feet is about this distance from the statue. So it should be somewhat easy to find, but I'll just tell you where it is. Behind the statue is a wall with some loose rocks. Hit it with the hammer and pick up the shard. Go opposite to where the statue is and force this door open with the hammer. Walk forward and turn left. You are now in the study. Look for a table that has a story important note. You cannot progress in the game unless you pick up this note. Look for anything that is glowing blue. When you activate a switch, a memento will notify you that there may be another switch that needs activating. Once you find it, click on it and head down to where the secret passageway has opened. But as you can see, there is debris blocking your way. Fortunately, you can reach the door and unlock it from this side, which means you can go through this door from the other side. And in case you didn't know, this door can be accessed from the entrance hall. It also states that in the mementos. You can now leave the study. If the door leading back to the main hall slams shut, just open it again and exit. Leave the main hall unless you have forgotten to get the purple shard hidden near the eagle statue. Click the annotation to see that part of the walkthrough. Once you have the purple shard and have unlocked the door hidden in the study, you can now leave the main hall and head back to the dining hall. Go back through the large door in order to head back to the entrance hall. In the entrance hall, you will need to go downstairs and turn right. Go through this door. As you can see, this is the door that you unlocked from the other side of this debris. Head through the door on the right and take the second or third door on the right. Here in the servants' canteen, there will be a story, important note, and a rusted key. Leave the canteen and turn right, going straight until you see a gate. At this point in the game, the player is now outside the mansion. When the player interacts with the gate, a journal notification will tell the player to check the final note of Mr. Wilkinson's instructions. This note will tell the player that the cemetery beyond is still technically part of the Ashbury estate and that the player must keep an eye out for an eagle statue. Keep following the path until you reach another gate. The notice on the right will tell the player that there is real danger in the darkness. Hopefully, you'll be able to figure out that you need to find a source of light as quickly as possible. Run through the cemetery until you reach a well-lit house. Go inside and search the drawers and the chest on the bed. You should be able to find 3 notes from Jeremy the Gravekeeper. In his first note, it will tell the player that the red shard is hidden in a coffin buried under an eagle tombstone. The other 2 notes are story important notes. Go back outside and look for 2 other sources of light. One will lead you to where the player can find a shovel, and the other is where the eagle tombstone is. But in order to get across, the player will need to pick up one of the wooden planks by the house and use it to make a bridge. Use the shovel on the grave. Open the coffin. Pick up the shard and leave the cemetery. Head all the way back to the entrance hall, but before exiting, there will be a new lantern to pick up. Head down the elevator to the foundation halls. Place each shard into their designated crystal ball as indicated by the color. At this point, the machine will activate a lock and a secret hatch will open. To the left of the elevator there is a ladder. Take the ladder to the secret hatch, but the ladder is slightly too short, so you'll need to fetch a box from the storeroom, place the box under the hatch, and then place the ladder on the box. This may be a no-brainer, but please don't grab the ladder on the top because, you're not tall enough to reach the hatch. So grab the ladder at the bottom. That way you'll be able to reach the hatch with the ladder from the ground. You'd be surprised how many people did the former. Walk down the corridor, open the door, and read the story important note on the desk. The note will tell the player that the safe deposit box key is under the Bible. It's not a memento, you just have to remember that from the note. Smash open the display with a hammer or anything else you can throw with. Congratulations, you now have the key that Mr. Wilkinson wanted you to find. Bear in mind, this is a safe deposit box key, which means it's not going to work on any door in this whole mansion. All you need to do now is leave the mansion in order to accomplish your mission. Head back to the entrance hall and go back downstairs to the passageway where you first entered their mansion through the metal door. But what's this? The door's locked? Okay, so you need to head back to the entrance hall. Go to the door that leads to the cemetery. Next to it, there is a table. On the table, there will be a note and a key. The key is for unlocking the back door. Note that the metal door isn't the back door because it doesn't lead to the outside of the mansion. Head back down to the passageway and use the key on the door opposite to the door that leads to the entrance hall. You can now leave the mansion. Though the gate is still locked, you should be able to use the boxes to help you get over the gate. And that's it. you win the game. Good, great. I hope that this walkthrough has helped you out, and thank you for playing Key to Freedom. I really appreciate it. If you'd like to see more videos from me and the other 3 people that worked on Key to Freedom, check out our 4 shows that we have on this channel. This is a relatively new channel, so we are gradually adding new content for your viewing pleasure. But don't worry, a lot more is coming. 3 of these videos will focus on issues in the gaming industry, movie industry, and even the cartoon industry that generally covers misconceptions and debunks false facts on the many things in our modern entertainment. We also have a 4th show, which is basically a commentary on random but awesome games, but make no mistake, this is not a Let's Play show. Anywho, thanks for watching and have a brilliant and wonderful day.